We have plenty of North Central sports action for you today on the first fall session of the Cardinal Report. In the next 30 minutes, we'll take you inside NCC athletics. Thanks for joining us. I'm Zach Groth. Two Cardinal teams, women's volleyball and men's soccer, will join us on the set later in the program. But first, let's take a look at some of the exciting moments from other NCC programs. We'll start with women's soccer. The Cardinals struggled mightily last season, finishing with a 2-12-1 record. The program has bounced back in impressive fashion this year, and the Cardinals sit at 5-3-2 heading into this week's action. The Cards came away with a victory last Saturday against North Park, beating the Vikings 4-2. Rebecca Sneddon led the Cardinal attack, knocking in 2 goals, one in the 15th minute and one in the 52nd. Noelia Reyes assisted on both goals and picked up another assist on Kaylee Mahalik score in the 49th. Goalkeeper Nikki Seaton has 57 saves and 9 starts this year. Her 75% save percentage, a major factor in the team's early success. The women's golf team has wrapped up its fall schedule, ending with a 3rd-place finish in the CCIW tournament. 2 Cards had incredible performances at the conference tourney. Junior Kayla Koenig finished 2nd overall, and senior Rachel Oberheide was 3rd. We checked in on the Cardinals early in their schedule at NCC's annual Fall Classic. Megan Kelly helped lead the effort in that event, putting up a plus 1486. Oberheide posted an identical score, and the 2 Cardinals tied for 23rd in the event. North Central women's tennis has its conference tournament this week. The Cardinals have a 10-4 record this season with 4 conference victories against 3 losses. Miranda Grizafi has impressed as the number 2 singles player, posting a 9-5 record in dual meets. The team put on one of its best performances of the year at home against Dominican in September. The Cardinals swept the Stars at the NCC tennis courts. The doubles tandem of Reynolds Cross and Kelsey Forkin won his doubles match 8-0. Katie Drone dominated in the number 1 singles slot, winning 6-0, 6-1. Now to the NCC cross-country teams. Another year has passed, and the men's squad continues to prove they're one of the greatest in the entire nation. The latest coaches poll has NCC ranked 1st in Division III with every single first-place vote. Junior Troy Kelleher leads this year's group, and he'll look to contend for an individual national title later this year. Kelleher already has 2 personal victories this season, including the NCAA pre-national race. In November, head coach Al Carius will try to bring home a 41st straight conference title at the CCIW Championships in Decatur. The women's cross-country team also has worked its way on the national radar. The 23rd-ranked Cardinals picked up their first team victory of the year at the Benedictine University Eagle Invite over the weekend. Junior Megan Costanzo has emerged as the Cardinals' top runner, posting the best NCC time in every race she's competed in. Costanzo fell 3 seconds short of an individual victory at the Eagle Invite, finishing 2nd behind Aurora's Emily Paul. Cardinals' Helen Meyer, Amanda Cortez, and Nora Ferguson stayed together for most of the race and took spots 3 through 5 in that order. The Cards will run in the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh AAE Invitational this weekend. That brings us to our guest on today's show. When we return, women's volleyball head coach Karen Bunkenburg will join us and let us know how her team has rebounded from a tough 2013. Stick with us.
This financial advisor is being accused of committing one of the largest investment frauds in the history of the United States.
I guess we're not going to Aspen. That's fine. You see, I like tennis balls. He likes insider trading. So he's going to jail and I'm going to a shelter. And no, they're not the same thing. Shelters are for good pets that want to be adopted. Jails are for criminals. I've done nothing. Uh-oh. Okay, I stole a cheeseburger once. I'm a dog.
Welcome back to the Cardinal Report. Here on the set to tell us about the women's volleyball team's impressive turnaround, we say hello to head coach Karen Bunkenburg. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, the team in 2013, it wasn't a great year for the program. Only 12 wins, a lot of struggles throughout. This year has been completely different. 16-5, you're getting good contributions from a lot of different players on this team. What's caused this turnaround?
You know, we were frustrated last year, and one of the goals that we kind of set as a team was to obviously improve our chemistry and improve our overall play on the court. So our seniors took on a lot of leadership during the offseason, so I give them a lot of credit. But we also feel like we're getting some good contributions from some of our younger players, in particular a big group of freshmen. But then again, our junior class has really done a nice job of stepping up to some challenges too. So I think everyone just came in with a fresh attitude, and a little more positive attitude, and it's paying off.
Have you noticed more smiles at practices, people laughing more, a change in that kind of environment?
I've been able to smile more, so I guess that's a positive. Yeah, I think we really tried to set the tone early that we wanted to be, we wanted to work hard, but at the same time, we need to have some fun and we need to have some lightness at practice. And I think our freshmen have kind of brought some of that because, coming in, there's really they don't know what to expect, so we can establish a new tone every season.
Let's talk about the freshmen a little bit. Julie Laugel seems to be one of the leaders in this group, and you've gotten so many great contributions. You see 5 or 6 freshmen really making an impact every single time you're on the court. Why do you think they've been able to step in and contribute so quickly and do so at such a high level? They
all came from strong high school programs and strong club programs, and I think the level of play that we saw them at during their senior years in high school and during their club time, they were playing at a national level. They're playing competitive, very competitive volleyball, all within the Midwest region, and I think that really translates well to being successful at the college level because they've played so much volleyball. They know how to grind day in and day out.
The team gets off to a 9-0 start this season. You've come back down to earth a little bit. You're still playing well, but how do you recapture some of that just incredible momentum that you had to start the year?
That's a great question. I think that we hit a point at that 9-0, 10-0 mark or wherever we landed, where I think we got a little too big for ourselves and we had some wake-up calls. And we just keep going back to work every day. And we've kind of developed this thing at practice where we actually check in, like time-wise. We check in at the beginning of practice, we check out, we talk about what our focus is for the day, and we really try and keep staying focused on why we're there and what we're trying to accomplish each day, really, because we take each one as it comes and each match as it comes. So hopefully we'll keep it rolling.
At home, you've been outstanding. 6-1, I think, right now. And a lot of the CCIW schedule you have left is at home. How much of an advantage is it to play in front of that crowd?
Our fans, our families, the other teams that have come out to support us have been awesome. There's been some really great momentum in the building and just an exciting environment. So I think it is a huge impact for us. We'd like to think that we can handle road trips as well, and it's going to be nice, though. I'm not gonna lie. It's going to be nice to have a few of these last ones at home.
The CCIW is just stacked right now. A lot of talent in the conference. When you see those teams that you're getting ready for, how do you approach battling against such talented groups?
We break it down every match. We talk about their strengths, their weaknesses. We go, we watch film. We really try and pick on 1 or 2 things that we think we can get after with that team, but we really stay focused on what we need to keep doing better. And for us, we're focused in on controlling serve receive and being in system. And to be quite honest, getting better with our blocking and staying, where we want to be defensively. So every CCIW match is a challenge. We know that and we accept it.
With these tough matches coming up, and so many freshmen who haven't gotten the CCIW experience yet, you've only played 2 matches so far as of this taping that you've been against the CCIW opponent. What position does that put the seniors in as leaders and as mentors for their younger counterparts?
They really, they get it. It's obviously their 4th year. They know the big rivalries and they know who they'd love to try and knock off as seniors. And I think we've been trying, the seniors and our coaching staff, to kind of help the freshmen relate to that in drawing on their high school experiences and saying, okay, who's your big high school rival? And that's what we're talking about when we step into these CCIW matches. And really the big difference that we've been trying to stress for them is that we get one shot. We play a single round robin, so we play Carthage one time, and that's our chance to do work against them. So that's what we're trying to help them understand.
Laura Klug has been one of the standouts for this team this season. 639 assists so far. What have you seen from her, and have there been any other players that have really impressed you this season that maybe you weren't expecting that major contribution from?
Yeah, Laura, has been pretty steady for us since she got here her freshman year, and I think the thing with her this year, I think she's matured a little bit. She's a fun player. She can play relaxed, but she's also developed this intensity and kind of this trying to take control of the floor, which she should do in her position. And we're just really working on making sure that's a positive thing and that she's got good energy. Her teammates respond well to her, though, and she's done a really nice job. And across the board, I would have to say our seniors have done a nice job of being leaders and talking in practice and setting the guidelines for how we want things to go at practice and in matches and whatnot. They know what my expectations are, and they've done a nice job giving that to the younger kids. I would say, Jill Galovic, who's a transfer, came in to play for us this year. Really wasn't sure, how quickly she would adapt and get into the program, but she's had to step into a big role for us in playing libero, and she's done a great job. Bridget White has come on as a junior and had some big matches for us on the outside. And, again, our freshman class, I think, is stepping up some challenges.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate you stopping by the show for this taping. Thanks again, and good luck in CCIW play.
Thank you.
After the break, we'll welcome in two of the standouts from the women's volleyball squad. Don't go anywhere.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
We're back here on the Cardinal Report. Joining me now, two of the offensive forces from the women's volleyball team, senior middle hitter Kedryn Orrison and freshman outside hitter Julie Laugel. Thanks for stopping by.
No problem. No problem.
This team struggled a lot last year. We already talked with your coach about that. To see your program turn it around so quickly, what has that been like, Kedryn, and noticing that the freshmen have made a huge contribution and the team is heading in the right direction?
Yeah, I think it's been a big difference from last year. We have a lot of the same components of our team that we've had, but I think that the freshmen have brought something new to our team. It's just kind of a new flair, and I think we're feeding off of it really well this year so far. So, yeah.
Julie, why do you think the freshmen have been able to play so well so quickly and get acclimated to this team so fast?
Obviously I wasn't here last year, but I think we've clicked really well, and the older people have made it really easy to come in and play. And they weren't at first it was a little intimidating, but they were all super nice and welcoming, and it was really easy to play with them, and we've all kind of clicked, I think, and it's made it a lot easier to play.
Julie, what's been the toughest transition of making this jump to college volleyball?
It was a little different. We have longer games now. That was a little different, but other than that, not a whole lot has changed.
Kedryn, what is that jump like when you have to adjust to the new type of volleyball where you're playing these longer matches and you have to condition yourself for that?
I think it's just a new level of competition. Coming from high school volleyball, it's couldn't be mediocre at times, but coming to a conference as strong as the CCIW, you have to step it up a lot, and I think Coach does a really good job preparing us with the preseason we go through, so I think that really helps us get kind of acclimated to the jump between high school and college volleyball.
With so many young players on your team, as a senior, directing these younger teammates through the CCIW, what kind of leadership position does that put you in, and what knowledge do you try to impart to your younger teammates?
I try and go more of an experience route with them. That's just the kind of player I am. I like to lead more by example than just kind of words. So I like to go, well, this team usually does this, and this has worked well against them, so let's try and focus on what we need to do on the court on our side, as opposed to focusing on the other team or just talking, I guess. So.
Julie, the CCIW is just so talented this year. Knowing that you're going to have all these difficult opponents in a really short stretch of time, what do you think that's going to do for your development and the other freshman players' development moving forward in your careers?
I think it'll help us prepare a lot for upcoming opponents and stuff too. And I think this is being such a tough conference that it'll get us our level of play up and make us keep getting better and make us strive to keep doing work and practice and keep us focused.
Kedryn, knowing that your North Central career is at the final stages and coming to a close pretty soon, what's this stretch like? And as you reflect back on these years, what's been the greatest moments and what are you going to miss the most?
I think I'm just going to miss being around the team and just playing volleyball and having this family atmosphere that we have. Some days it just kind of hits me where I go, wow, I'm a senior. I've got less than a month of my season left, and it's crazy to think about. And this whole career, the last 4 years, I wouldn't change anything. Volleyball is definitely a huge highlight of my whole college experience, and I just love it. And I'm gonna miss it a lot in a month, but yeah.
And Julie, how hyped up are the freshmen to send these seniors off the right way?
We're not hyped to send them off, but hopefully we can give them a good last season and they can end on a high note. And I mean, yeah, I'm sad to see them go because obviously they're all good and I'm going to miss them.
What are the expectations for you and the team? What do you want to accomplish during this final stretch?
Well, we're really pushing to finish really strong in the CCIW. You know, obviously the goal is the conference tournament in the beginning of November, so we really got to push. You know, we got 2 games this week, and then it's just kind of going, and we're pushing for conference games, pushing for conference wins right now.
Last question for both of you. We'll start with Julie. What is the biggest area of improvement for the team right now? Where do you need to work on the most to have that success in the final couple months?
We've been working a lot on blocking. We're not the tallest team, so we've been focusing a lot on that in practice. So I think if we get blocking out, that'll really help our team out.
And Kedryn?
I completely agree. Our defense right now is really what we're focusing on a lot, and I think our offense is there already. It's just the defense that we're pushing along to become stronger and better and to compete with some of the better teams in our conference.
I want to thank you both for stopping by. Good luck as the CCIW schedule marches on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Coming up next, the men's soccer team joins the show, starting with head coach Matt Klosterman. More of the Cardinal Report after this.
Behind the wheel, there is no such thing as a small distraction. A public service reminder from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, who would rather help keep your bones strong than put them back together. Speak out against distracted driving at decidetodrive.org.
Time to talk men's soccer here on the Cardinal Report, and who better to start the conversation than NCC head coach Matt Klosterman. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Thanks.
All right, the team 7-8-3 last season. You guys look like you're heading in the right direction as a program, up to 8-4-1 so far this year. What's changed between the 2 seasons, and where have you seen the greatest areas of growth and improvement?
It's a good question. There's been a lot of changes. We graduated 10 guys last year, and we felt like we really had a good team and played some really good soccer, just didn't really get the breaks to go for us. We thought a lot about how we were playing, and also thought about the personnel we had, and shifted a couple guys around. Had a lot of new faces join us, and really just focused on trying to get everybody to mesh and try to make it as simple as possible, and put ourselves in a position maybe to get lucky once in a while.
The team got some good news actually right before you guys walked into the studio today. John Borzik, the CCIW Defensive Player of the Week, and last week Matt Koth won the Offensive Player of the Week award. In addition to these 2 guys and on their performances, who else has really stepped up and made themselves a major contributor this season?
Boy, we've been playing a lot of guys this year, so it's tough to pick out just a couple. I think those 2 guys both have really been consistent and have done a great job this year. Stephen Walcott really in the last couple weeks really seems to be settling in the back line, and is really making kind of his presence felt. He's been much more of a calming influence for some of the other players, and so he's been really important for us. But our center mids have all been really good. Joey Fellini, I think in the last week, his effort and just the amount of ground he covers in some games is pretty amazing. So he's a guy who's really made a big difference too.
One thing that's impressed me the most, just looking at the track record so far this season, 4 losses, 3 of them are only by 1 goal, the other by 2. You guys are really staying in every single time that you're out on the pitch. You guys are really competing up until the finish. Yeah,
I mean, the guys work hard. They're very enthusiastic, and their effort level is as good as anybody in the country. I couldn't be prouder of what they're doing, and they bring it every day in practice. I mean, that's a big part of why we keep getting better. I mean, every day, every game, has been an improvement, and you can really see it with the kind of plays that we're making now. There's a lot of pretty simple stuff that we were focused on at the beginning of the year, and now we're doing some things a little bit better and giving ourselves some more opportunities.
Zach Sorovi, Sebastian Garcia splitting time in net.
Yeah.
They've both been doing pretty well, and what are the advantages of having two different guys you can throw out there and put in the goal position?
Well, it's makes it harder on the coaches to figure out who's going in the lineup. But it's been those two and honestly our two other goalkeepers, Tyler Olson and Tim Howard. Those four in practice every day, they just battle. And Timmy got in one of the games earlier this season, and Tyler's been close a couple of times. So I mean, those four guys every day, you see them in goalkeeper training, and they're trying to get the most out of every session, and they're really pushing each other. And I mean, the sessions are fun. They have very good camaraderie together, but they're also really making each other better. And I think that's true really across the board. When you look at almost every spot on the field, we see a lot of guys who are getting time, and so if somebody drops just a little bit, so there's somebody else there who's really trying to get on the field and make their mark. And also when we have an injury, it doesn't hurt quite so bad. Because there's somebody else who's been in that role. It's not so scary when you have somebody go down.
You got the heart of the CCIW schedule coming up. How tough is the conference this year, and what does the team need to do to be successful during this final part of the season?
Well, we need to play as well as we can every game. Every one of those teams is really good. I think the last time I checked, we're the only conference in the country where every team is 500 or better right now. It's one of the best conferences around, and so we're just taking it one game at a time. We have Elmhurst tomorrow, and then we get a little bit of a break to get ready for our last four games, and so one game at a time. That's what we've been looking at all season, and it's been working out okay so far.
Coach Klosterman, thank you for joining us today on the Cardinal Report.
Thanks very much.
More Cardinal Report is coming up after the break. A few players from the men's soccer team will join us.
Nice. No. Oops. Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
The Cardinal Report continues with two guests from the men's soccer team. Joining us now, junior Matt Koth and senior Lucas Habeeb. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Matt, you've really emerged as one of the top offensive players in the entire conference this season, taking this huge jump when you changed positions and moved over to the offensive side. How have you been able to elevate your game to that next level and really become one of the on-field leaders for this team?
I'd have to say in the offseason, we worked a lot on this. I knew going into the offseason that I would be changing to a forward. So I just focused on doing all the simple things right, I'd say, and building off of what I was doing right. I also played for a club team in the summer, and they had me playing forward too. So I've actually got a lot of minutes as forward, and that's definitely helped me adjust to the college level.
And Luke, looking through what the team's done and how the goals have come this season, it's really one or both of you are always involved on this. What's the connection like between you two, and how have you become such big playmakers for this offense?
Oh, well, it helps when you got a guy who can score anytime he's within 25 yards of the goal. But it's nice because, we both we work hard, try and make stuff happen, and it's been falling our way lately. Hopefully it can continue to do so throughout the rest of the CCIW schedule.
Is it tough with you being only just one of the three seniors on the roster to have such a young group and you have to be one of the big leaders for the team?
Yeah, that was one of the bigger worries we had going into the season, me personally. Myself and the other captain, Jake Johnson, we really talked a lot on how we could get the freshmen that we had to kind of assimilate really quickly, because we only had, I think, 12 or 13 guys coming back from last year's roster. So it was really important for us to really establish team chemistry early on so then we can build on that. And I think we've done a really good job of doing so.
Matt, you played one of your toughest opponents pretty recently against North Park. that game went down to the wire 4-3. What did you learn from that game, and how can you build off of that loss?
I think I learned that we should never give up because we were in it the whole time. Even when we were down 2 goals, we were still able to come back and make it a close game. And that's something that we've been really showing throughout the year, I think. We're always fighting no matter what the scoreline is, even if we're winning. Yeah, we're always in the game.
And Luke, one thing I've noticed that on the road your team is really performing well. You're performing well at home too, but 4-2 on the road. Does it really matter where this team plays? Do you get the same type of effort from you guys regardless of what the setting is?
We do try and bring it regardless of where we're playing. We hate losing at home especially, but there's nothing better than going on the road and stealing one on a team's home turf. That feeling is really great, especially if they got fans there and then they're all disappointed. It's really nice to get that win.
And this is for both of you. We'll start with you, Matt. Shots-wise, you're almost on par with your opponents on this season. I think as a team, you have one more shot on the year compared to the teams you've played, but you're getting a better percentage, you're scoring more. Why do you think that the offense is operating more efficiently than the teams you run up against?
I'd say all of us up there, we're focusing more on getting quality chances that you're able to actually finish rather than taking all the risky shots, the ones that we have a less chance to score. And we've focused on that throughout the year, so I think that's what's helping probably our percentage-wise. I didn't even know that stat until you told me it right now, but that's probably what's behind it.
Yeah, last year we got a lot of shots off. They weren't necessarily always on goal. This year our shots on goal percentage, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I think it's safe to say that it's higher than last year. So we're really focused, on Matt and myself putting the ball on frame, and then what happens from there just happens. So if the goalie spills it, then hopefully one of us is there to frame the goal and get the rebound. So
we see both of you on the stat sheet all the time. Is there someone else who doesn't get as much attention, say as the either two of you, that you really think has played exceptionally well this year, more so than you expected?
I think Chandler Ola has done a great job. He before this year, he was playing forward, but we recently changed our formation, and he switched to center attacking mid. And at the beginning, he was kind of lost. Actually, he was lost on the field. He didn't know where to go, and he's done a really good job of changing his mindset and figuring out on the go where he needs to be. And he doesn't always score or get the assist, but a lot of times he's pressuring the ball and forcing turnovers. So I think he deserves a lot of the credit that necessarily doesn't show up on the stat sheet.
And Matt, anyone you want to point out?
I think, like Coach was saying earlier, Stephen Walcott has really stepped up to his role as the kind of the leader of our defense. Me having left that position last year, that was one of our worries coming into the season about our defense, and that's what we focused on a lot. And it's nice to see someone like Stephen Walcott stepping up and taking that position and leading the team in the back.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you both for stopping by today. Good luck as your season goes on.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
That wraps up today's show, but the Cardinal Report will return later in the fall. We will come back in late November to give you more highlights, updates, and interviews from North Central Athletics. Until then, I'm Zach Groth. Thanks for joining us on the Cardinal Report.